It's time for Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblitz, the show that helps you be prepared to care for your family regardless of the circumstances that may come your way. Now, here's your host for today, Mark Lamb.
Well, we're back in the studio with Glenn Boblitz, and I always ask Glenn before we get on the microphone, what are we talking about? And he said a BLT, and I'm thinking, I am hungry.
It's about that time, break time, yeah.
So welcome. So you're going to break down what a BLT really is and what it takes to get there.
Yeah, you just walk in and you go, can I have a BLT on rye and toasted, please?
Yeah.
But where the heck did it come from? I mean, how did it get there? The lettuce was grown by somebody, the tomato was grown by somebody made the bread, and for sure, America's favorite food, the bacon.
Yeah. You like a little mayonnaise on yours?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
And lots of pepper.
Oh, okay.
So, thinking, what if there wasn't no bacon? Or it starts going outrageous, like I think it's getting ready to go outrageous. Chicken went up like 40% on I think it was wings.
Wow.
America's food, wings
and
bacon, they poke us in the eye. But at any rate, we take for granted, you go, I'll have a BLT, but can you make that BLT on your own? You should.
Yeah.
If you know a good farmer that is growing some prime hogs, he's got bacon, and what deal did you work out with him,
Yeah.
And that's my point here today, and is you may not have the land to do the farming or a barn to raise your hogs in and fencing and all that good stuff. And,
Right.
So when you go to your local farmer and he says, my bacon is X number of dollars a pound, you go, well, that seems expensive. Well, it's expensive for him, for sure, no doubt.
Right.
So befriending this guy is maybe a way you can barter through it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to kind of go into today is,
All right.
How do we get that bacon?
Building a BLT on Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblitz.
There you go. So can you do that? Can you butcher your own meats? We talked about that in some previous episodes. So can you do that? And if you can't, what are you going to do about it? Because things are going to get a little crazy. I mean, Trump's on fire right now.
Right.
But he's ticking a lot of people off.
Oh my gosh!
It's,
I thought we'd get a little reprieve. Oh my goodness!
Nah.
You got Elon Musk apparently, shooting the Heil Hitler, and this is what I love about the good guys and gals. They found pictures of Hillary and George Bush, like 4 other politicians, looking like they were saying Heil Hitler. Come on, people!
The hypocrisy is just out of control, and we just need to cut them off. Just quit watching them. And I wish, I don't want to give out any of the news agencies' names, but don't show these people.
Right.
I know they're idiots.
Right.
Well, quit showing them. Just
Right.
make them obsolete.
Yes.
That's what I think we
Ignore
need to
'em.
do. So if you don't allow them to repeat, most people won't hear it. So is that or yank their FCC license? I don't care which one you do.
Right.
All right, so back to that. We get off onto that pretty quick, but I don't think that we're going to have a smooth transition,
Right.
much less a smooth 4-year term. I think there's going to be some crap started over, especially when tariffs really hit. And,
Yes.
people are going to be angry at us. And Trump says, I don't care. We're going to do what's good for America from now on.
Right.
You can pound sand for all I care. And that's pretty much the attitude I see out of him. He's like, you just be quiet a minute. I'm up here talking.
Yeah.
You've seen the interview. So that's a good thing.
And like you say, he's
Quit participating in their stupidity.
right. And it's going to take a while to get this reset. It's the darkest before the dawn. So we could head into some really tough times as we're making the adjustments to get us in a better place.
Right. And prices are not going to stay as they are. They're just not. They just seem to be taking a huge leap forward for whatever reason. Pick one. We got to do what's good for your family, just like Trump's trying to do for America. You got to do what's good for your family. So
Right.
if you can make that deal with that farmer to reduce that cost for him, it reduced your cost for in your pocket. And that's what we're talking about. If you bought that bacon, did you just pull money right out of your pocket to do that? And if you start calculating, I had to work X number of dollars or X number of hours to get that cart full of food and meats, you
Right.
know. And I hate to throw rocks at China all the time, but that's where most of our pork comes from, or
Right.
at least a lot of it.
Yeah.
It is not as well regulated as our own. I've quit purchasing it. I've quit purchasing pork just because of the MNRA vaccines.
okay,
I
but-
don't.
yeah.
I don't trust them. I don't believe what
Right.
these people say anymore. So,
Oh,
yes,
they'll look at you in the face. They'll look. I sounded Italian there. They'll look you in the face and just flat out lie to you.
So, you know, knowing that, I just said, okay, I'm going to pay a little extra to my local farmer, or I'm going to raise my own.
Right.
And I'm working on both. So,
Okay.
paying a little more for the bacon that is quality bacon, knowing where it comes from, knowing the conditions it was grown in, and what shots they've been given. There's a lot of farmers that have quit giving all these shots to their pigs, and they're doing better. I had one farmer tell me that they were losing in a litter of pigs about 30%
Wow.
because he was given the recommended shots. And
Right.
he quit doing it, improved their feed, going to
Okay.
more natural feed, letting
Right.
them forage in the woods. You see all these advertisements of homegrown, farmer-raised pigs, sheep, beef, that they're actually letting them getting into the woodland. And
Okay.
what's happening there is they're getting a diverse diet, which means that they're getting a better diet.
Okay.
And pigs are smart. They can, and they have a sense of smell that's unbelievable. And they go and search for certain foods
Okay.
because of nutrition values.
Right.
Your body gives them a message, and they go, "I know where that's at." And he goes over and he eats daisies for a week, you
Wow.
know, because he needs something that's in that daisy or whatever type of weed he's after, or
Right.
or even tree limbs. You know, they'll tear up like young poplars, maples. They do all that, and they're trying to get a diverse diet. And lo and behold, these pigs aren't getting sick anymore. And all of a
Interesting.
sudden, as soon as he stopped giving all the shots that he was given, you know, maybe he gave him just the primaries, but all of a sudden he had better survivability in his young piglets. Now that means
Interesting.
something.
Yeah.
That transfers to you. So if your diet is strictly out of the store, a bunch of processed foods, that's what your body's going to use for its immune system. And if the correct ingredients aren't there, you don't have an immune system, or you have a very weak immune system.
Right.
I mean, America's the most sickest country in the world, yet we're supposed to have the best medical care.
Right.
And it goes down to the food. I mean, we talked about all the processes that go into breads and bleaches and you name it. Well, that's pretty much in all foods. We eat more processed foods than any country in the world. And it's just not a smart thing to do. In doing this, we're going back to the farm.
Okay.
And maybe learn to make your bacon. Well, somebody could say, well, I don't know how to make bacon. Well, I'll guarantee there's a farmer around here somewhere that knows how to make it. And if you're showing up on hog killing day or the butcher day, and that's 2 different days, you may be able to befriend this guy and reduce your prices. If you're just rolling into his farm, you're going to pay premium prices. He knows what it cost him. He knows the time in there, and he's going to say this is what it cost. And if you don't want it, he can't do nothing about that.
Right.
Unless you're the guy that come help him get his hogs in when they got out, helped them gather them up on butcher day, and helped stayed and butchered on a cold day. I remember that. So do they. And there's a lot of these guys that are doing it. And it's just not necessarily farmers, just a homesteader
Okay.
who's got, a couple pigs and he's getting ready to butcher. And all of a sudden, sometimes it's worth having the help on a 600-pound hog. I'll just tell you. So
Yeah.
can you find these people? Well, they're out there, but you can't just expect them to walk up and say, "Give me a hand," because he's got his pride. He doesn't want to hire someone because that's just more money.
Sure.
So he does it himself. Him and his wife, me and my wife, we've done it. So having that extra hand does help, and we're more than generous when people do that.
Right.
And I've yet to fail to see a farmer that you've helped on Butcher Day not give you something, give you something. Now it may be a couple pounds of sausage or whatever it is, but he did it. You got the education, so you doubled up. You got a little free meat and education.
Right.
Do you not pay for your education out here in the real world?
Yeah.
Sure you do.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So why wouldn't you pay for that education? That's what you're doing. So I want you to gain this knowledge. We talked about someone had that knowledge, and he deserves something for it. And if he's doing you a favor by butchering your pig, he's going to charge you, as he should. It's his time, his knowledge, and all that. But if you're there helping him, it may reduce some of that. That's what the point of it is. He has a pretty big investment on his homestead.
Right.
The land, and you just can't plop animals out there and go, okay, grow away. It has to be good quality land. It has to be good quality grasses. The diversity of the grasses should be there. He's doing all that.
Right.
And I'm here to tell you, it is not like just throwing out grass seed and going, grow, my son. It is just, it's work.
And really, those principles go into the other components for a BLT, don't they?
Oh, yeah. You talk about the lettuce. Sometimes lettuce just refuses to grow because of the heat. It'll bolt.
Okay.
My wife likes arugula.
Okay.
And if it gets good and hot early in the spring, in 2 weeks' time, it'll bolt, which means put out seed. And then it's very bitter and you can't eat it.
Oh.
And she may have 2 rows of it and being mad because, there went her arugula.
Right.
But you can't do nothing about the weather. We complain about it, but that's about it. But,
Sure.
So there's all these people that are doing this stuff, have these skills, have the land to do it, good fertile soil. They all deserve something. Tomatoes, everybody seems to like to grow tomatoes, but sometimes you just don't get a good crop. The better you get at it, the better your tomato crop's going to be. Find somebody who's growing the biggest tomatoes. That's who you want to ask questions to. And it's just like the farmer. If you're thinking about raising pigs, you might want to talk to that farmer and find the downsides or the problems that he's run into. Save you money. Learn from his mistakes.
Right.
That's what we're saying. Gaining that knowledge, getting us through possible hard times. If you have your own source of meat, that would be huge, because most people just don't have the land, the knowledge, the skills, the facilities. But if you could at least raise that pig, if you did have a little piece of land, and could get it to the butcher, make some type of trade, monetary, whatever it is, at least you could have a source for that. And if you can have a source for that, you can get through some hard times. Bacon and hams have been traded like gold for thousands of years.
Sure.
They always have been.
Sure.
But that's a whole nother set of skill levels of preserving the meats. It's one thing to freeze a piece of meat and put it in. It's another to salt cure, make sausages, whatever it is. There's a whole list. Get a shameless promotion coming up on the 25th at the Lindan Ruatan Center. We're going to talk about ways to preserve that meat, getting you a head start that I didn't have, that I had to learn through bits and pieces and then final research. But preserving meats, and you can can meats too, but that's not the only way. There's lots of ways to do it, but you have to have that basis of knowledge. So on the 25th, which is a Saturday, at the Lindan Ruatan Center, from 2 to 4, we're going to have a soils class, and we're going to have a meat preservation class.
Okay.
So come out and see us for that one. You may not have, like I said, all the skills or facilities, but some farmer does. But you do have two hands.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you may not be able to be there on Butcher Day to get that symbiotic trade.
Mm-hmm.
Why not show up when he's doing his fencing? Fencing's a hard deal by yourself. Right. That's where I'm telling you. Take your two hands and go out and see this guy. Go out, meet him. And you can knock on their door, be real respectful because, it's his land.
Yeah.
And tell him who you are and what you're doing. It'll be shocking to him. And you might say, no, get out of here, but go to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Check your friends. Who do you know? And ask and find that farmer. You better start taking care of the American farmer.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Trump's figuring this out too, so
yeah.
Amen to him for that one. One of the things that you're going to have in your diet, and that's the meat. So if you're going to call yourself sustainable, you're going to need and want that meat. You need those oils, and you need those amino acids and all that kind of stuff. So if you plan on being sustainable, you're going to have a meat source. You may be able to garden in your front yard, but it's going to be hard to raise a pig in your front yard.
Sure.
Unless your neighbors are real cooperative.
I'll tell you what, Glenn, before we move on, because I know we need to talk about the bread aspect of things, and obviously mayonnaise takes eggs and those kinds of things. Let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll try to get this BLT put together and learning along the way. We're with Glenn Ballblitz, and we're talking about what it takes to bring a BLT to your table to prepare so you can make that sandwich. This is sustainable living made easy.
Get ready for a new soundtrack for your life. Doc Rock, Smith Mountain Lake. It's music that'll take away your troubles for a while.
That's what I'm talking about!
Wake up with Janet and Mark on the Morning Jam. They'll keep you informed and encouraged, and we all need more of that.
They say jam.
You're invited to be a part of the Doc Rock family, your feel-good station. Doc Rock, Smith Mountain Lake.
We're back with more Sustainable Living with Glenn Ballblitz. Be sure to look for Sustainable Living on Facebook for even more information and follow-up conversations with other members. Now, here's your host, Mark Lamb.
Well, we're back with Glenn Ballblitz, and, we had managed to talk about the meat aspect, the bacon.
Right.
A little bit about the lettuce and tomato.
The garden starts with the soil, and this goes back to another shameless promotion of the class we're doing, but you need to understand the soil.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't understand your soil and it is not living soil, you may produce something, but you're not going to produce the bounty that's worth all the effort. You hear everybody go, it's just not worth gardening. Well, maybe you're not doing it right.
Well, that's possible, yeah, for sure.
So understanding the soil where you don't have to continually work yourself to death or spend hours and hours weeding, which no one seems to like. You can't blame them.
Right.
You need to understand how your garden works and how to make it more efficient for you. Making it efficient using mulches or ground covers, all of that saves you time so you can do other things in that garden. You can actually expand your garden if you don't have to constantly weed one spot. So here we are, trying to grow these tomatoes for our BLT and our lettuce and all that. But start with the basics. Know your soil.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get a handle on that, and you're never going to stop learning about soil. There's just so much. And the thing of it is it's fairly new understanding what's in the soil. And I'm not talking about clay, rocks, dirt. I'm talking about living soil with millions of microbes,
Okay.
mycorrhizal, fungi, you name it. It's in there, and it's all supposed to work together. And they do work together as long as you don't kill them. Spraying a bunch of chemicals on top to kill that one potato bug,
Right.
you just killed billions of the beneficial microbes in your soil. Now, without them, nutrients really doesn't move a whole lot in the
Okay.
soil. You know, the root system of any plant can only go out so far. That's how it was designed.
Right.
So it needs help. Now, they didn't know this until just probably 15 years ago, that fungi actually feed plants, actually physically move nutrients from outside the garden all the way into your garden because they asked for it. The plant sent
Sends
down
out a
a
signal.
chemical message.
Yeah. I remember
And
we've talked about this before.
We've talked about it
Yeah.
several times. And
Yeah.
that is just amazing.
It is amazing.
And then you have microbes that all have a specialized job. You know, there's a couple thousand different types of microbes. Some bad ones, but
Right.
they're very few. There's very few bad microbes in your soil
Right.
because they're kept in check by all the other microbes. You know, if you get to act a fool at a party, somebody's going to put you in check.
Right.
Okay, well, that's what's happening in your garden. If you have
Sure.
a healthy garden, these microbes will keep things from getting out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's on the surface of the leaves themselves. Microbes live there, just like the skin. Your skin has microbes on it.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize that, but that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The plants are no different. So all these microbes having this job that we really don't know nothing about is kind of foolish because they all need each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like community stuff right there. That's why I'm pushing what I do. We all need each other to make this work because
Right.
nobody can have all the skills that I talk about all the time.
Right.
There might be somebody out there that's really good at a lot of them, but he still doesn't have all the skills. I mean, a lot of older people don't have the computer skills, but their granddaughters do, and it makes
Right.
the house work, you know.
Sure.
Same principle here. Having these diverse of skills where we're working together, pull them all together, and make it work.
Yeah.
Well, the plants have been doing this, and the microbes have been doing this for a couple billion years. You know, here we are. So we're just now finding out about it. That's so silly, don't you think? You know, just the American farmer still believes that he can throw 10-10-10 fertilizer on his corn and get a good crop. What he'll get is a crop,
Right.
but everything seems to attack it. So now he has to spray it because it's unhealthy plants.
Right.
So it makes a weak plant. Well, bugs understand a weak plant, and they take it out.
Okay.
And that's why you get these infestations. Now, you may get, even if you're doing it all right, you still may get a potato bug in there once in a while.
Sure.
But he
Makes
won't
sense.
come. He won't stay long because it's a healthy plant. He goes to bite it, and he goes, wow, that tastes terrible because the microbes have brought up these minerals that it don't like. One of them being arsenic.
Really? Oh, wow.
They will put arsenic to the plant root. The plant takes it up and puts it in the leaves, and the bug don't want it.
Okay.
Imagine that. So everybody understands their job
Right.
except for us.
Everybody understands their boundaries, it
Right,
sounds
they-
like, too.
So if they do that for protection of the plant, and they're bringing nutrients in, so the plant has a good, healthy, strong plant, and it puts it into the fruit or the flower head or wherever it does, and we pick it and eat it,
Right.
we're getting that benefit too.
Sure.
Now, you'd say, well, you just told me it put arsenic in there. That is correct. In fact, your body's supposed to have arsenic also. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
It's supposed to have mercury in it.
A certain level of it.
Right.
That balances
It is
things.
so minute.
Right, right.
But your body says, I'll use that to do this as a protection.
Sure.
In fact, your body is supposed to have the exact same constituency as seawater.
Really?
If you look at all the
Interesting.
minerals that are in clean seawater and measure them out, your body's supposed to have the same proportion.
Okay.
But you can't drink seawater because it
No.
has to come through plants.
Other things, yeah.
It has.
Interesting.
So I wonder why the whole earth was flooded. Two purposes. One to cleanse it, the other is to fertilize it.
Is that? Never.
Almost like
never,
there was a plan.
Never thought that. No, didn't know that.
Right. And in these, and there's a balance there. You know, you don't want to get it out of balance because then it's something that'll make you sick. You can't
Sure.
have too much arsenic or, you know, we know what happens then.
Right, it'll take you out.
You'll fall over into the dirt 6 feet down, you know, too much arsenic.
Then you'll become part of the dirt.
But you're not going to get this through the plants. It's
Right.
going to give you the correct amount. And it's amazing that everybody knows what the correct amount is except for us.
Yeah.
The plants know it. The microbes know it. The fungi knows it.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And the fungi has been here a long time. They're the longest, pretty much the longest living organism that's organized.
Yeah.
Organized. Did you hear that? Fungi, a mushroom,
Yeah.
is smarter than most people. Now, not our listening group, of course, but yes, they are, because they can communicate with another species. They can work hard every day, and they figure it out. They
Oh,
understand.
we need to employ some mushrooms.
They
Too many people eating wild mushrooms.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the mushrooms are not good.
Right.
But that's a whole nother subject,
Right.
is the mushroom world. And they're just now figuring that, you know, they're using lion's mane for PTSD.
I've heard something along those lines, yes.
Huge success. Also with some
It's pretty
Alzheimer's.
controversial because of the
Right.
psychedelic aspect of it all. And,
Well, there's nothing psychedelic in the lion's mane now. There's
oh, okay.
there's-
Well, I'm thinking of another one that's
yeah,
out
the
there. that's-
cybosylics.
Okay.
They're using those to help jumpstart some of the brain tissue.
Okay, got it.
You just don't want to eat a whole bunch of them.
Right.
You don't eat them by the handful. It's called microdosing.
Right.
And it is just a super small amount. And there's a lot of research going on with that. But as you can imagine, the drug companies don't like
yeah.
that because they can't patent something
Right.
that's already natural. And that's a whole nother subject. We need to get Jennifer back in here and have her do some herbal medicines for us, because that's grown very, very popular.
Okay.
I see it same way with the homesteading and prepping. We're no longer in the shadows.
Right.
We learned that Big Pharma is strictly in it for the money
Absolutely.
and not for us. And that's what we need to do, is to change that. And the only way to do it is you're going to have to do the research yourself. They're not going to hand it to you.
Yeah.
They're just not.
So we have prepped the land to help us with the lettuce, tomatoes, and obviously the grains that we're going to need to make bread, right?
That's going to be the more difficult out of all of them, is having your own grains. You can grow your own wheats, that's fact. You can store whole grains.
Okay.
And then you have to grind it and store it that way. But that is super labor intensive. It hasn't been done for 100 years by homesteaders. It is just, it's too labor intensive to do that on a large scale when you can go and buy it so cheaply.
Right.
Just because it's cheap does not mean it's good. All-purpose white flour, there's a reason it's white. It's been bleached out.
Bleached, right.
And when you start doing those kind of processed foods, you're losing. There's no wheat germ. There's no
Right.
But if you can find someone that is growing wheat and get the whole wheat berries and grind them yourself,
Right.
you can do that. Storing any kind of grain should be stored whole and not ground unless you're going to use it up fairly quickly, because it just loses its nutrients. And that's the only reason we should be eating food anyway, is for the taste and nutrients. So that's a whole nother skill. Once once you've got the grain and you've ground it into a flour, you better know how to make breads and biscuits and all that kind of stuff. bread making, that's another one. Is artesian breads have just exploded.
Mm-hmm.
They're using all different types of grains and additives. And Ezekiel bread, that's been around a couple thousand years,
Right.
Forms a complete protein. And you go, wow, I never knew all this stuff about bread.
Right.
Biblically it says the bread of life. So apparently bread was pretty important at one time.
Yep.
So here we are with another skill that we need to learn. Well,
Yeah.
maybe your aunt, your grandmother, or the farmer down the road, the farmer's wife, guarantee she knows how to make biscuits because she has lard from the pigs that they
Right.
butchered. And we've been using more and more lard and tallow than we've ever had. About everything we try to cook with, we don't use any of the seed oils anymore.
Okay.
If you're going to use about anything, coconut oil is what they're saying to use.
It's better.
Yeah, it's better for
Okay.
you. Now, I'm not going to throw rocks at you if you're using vegetable oil, if that's all you got, but I'll guarantee if you go down the road to the farmer, you go, you got any lard? And it makes a world of difference. And there's grades of lard from the pig. And one is leaf lard, which
Okay.
is from the inside around the organs, very clean, white, has no smell to it,
Interesting.
and lasts a long time. Learn to render your yard. Render your lard is just taking raw fat, melting it down slowly on the stove,
Okay.
pouring it off, letting it separate, and you'll get a little water in the bottom and this white lard on top. Clean it up and do it again. And when you get done, it'll be snow white lard that'll look like Crisco. But it's not Crisco. It's not vegetable short.
Right.
This is good old-fashioned lard, and it is much better for you. It has far less polyunsaturated fats. All the bad stuff you hear on the TV, it's just much better for you. And there's a different flavor. The texture, you'll have flakier pie crust and bigger biscuits. And who doesn't like that? So we're getting close to the end. So we've hit the bread, the lettuce, the tomatoes, the bacon, and through God's grace and a little help from your wife, you can have your BLT.
Yeah.
Didn't think it took all that just to give you a BLT.
Right.
So the next time you ask for a BLT, thank the farmer, thank the gardener, thank the guy that grew the grain, thank all the people in between that have done it. So
Yeah.
be thankful for a lot of people out there that are making your life easier, because it may not always be that way.
If this was a video podcast, and I had the budget, I'd have all these pieces of heavy equipment pulling up to this little diner and just have like a row of vehicles, farm vehicles, pig trailers, and,
Right.
and just this is what it takes. What have all those people done? That's what it took to make your
Yeah.
BLT.
I had to contact all these people to get your BLT on your plate.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh! Wow. Well, Glenn,
We just don't think that the farmer does that much, because
Right.
he's out of sight, out of mind. Hard times, he becomes important again.
holy cow! Just like the truckers when we went through COVID.
Oh yeah,
We just recognize all of a sudden in the first responders and everyone.
yeah. Don't
else.
live in a convenience world, because you'll be disappointed if something happens.
Yeah. All right, Glenn. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Join us again next week for Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblitz, helping you be prepared and not scared. This podcast drops every Friday anywhere you get your podcast.